Hello everybody and welcome to the video. Today is episode 3 of the Zero to Hero series, where we take this little baby account and we take it to the very tippy top of the game. I mean, arena, RTA, everything. So even Spire of Ascension, which is going to be its own thing, and it's going to require a lot of work. But of course, again, for us to start, we have to start at 0, which is hence the name. Hence the name. So we have a lot to talk about, and I mean an insane amount of stuff to talk about. So I hope I don't get lost. But first things first, I know I said I was going to upload every day. To keep it short, the last 3 days got incredibly busy. Like even today, I farmed for maybe like an hour today. Honestly. Which I'm ashamed of a little. Oh, hiccups. I'm ashamed of a little bit, but family comes first. I have to help some family members out with some important stuff. So had to put you guys on hold for a little bit. But we're here, and I can't finish that. I was about to make a joke. Can't cancel myself yet. So I want to show you one thing first, because I know you peep him in the background, Okeanos, the red freaking Santa Claus in the background. Let me show you a summon video. Here we go. There you go. There's a summon video of me summoning Okeanos. I think he's going to be an amazing addition to the team. He's going to be great for arena, great for RTA, great for guild content. He's all around, I think, a really great unit. And I'm sure I'm not the only one to see that. Let's see. To my knowledge, you want him as a fast bruiser to stun the enemy turn 1. Focus on speed above all else and HP over attack. Given his leader skill, accuracy isn't a must. You're not going to use his leader skill, though. Not really. Speed, HP, attack. So straight... I don't care about attack. I think you want your Okeanos to be tanky. Don't let the increased damage by 50% fool you. I don't think you should. Violent will. Speed. HP or crit damage, huh? Some people, I guess, would disagree with me. I want mine to be tanky. We'll see. When the time comes, we will definitely use this guy. And I think to answer one thing that I got the other day, it's like, what do you mean by amazing unit? Because I mentioned that I wanted an amazing unit. Most units I think can work for me. I mean, I could throw my hand down, boom, Odin will work fine. Boom, Eladriel will work fine. Most units will work okay. They'll work fine. But it's like when you start throwing units like this at me, Shat, I'm not going to call him his real name, Shat, because that's what he is. He's bad. He's not great. I don't, maybe I'm missing something when I'm looking at his kit, but I don't think he's a really great unit. Let's see. Yeah, with this build, it's verified he needs a buff. Wait, what was it? He needs buff skill rework. Until then, he's Storage Guardian, like so developers will see. Yeah, I agree. Fatal. Psh, brother. Anyways, so it's just like, when I say amazing unit, I just need a decent unit. And Okeanos is definitely decent. To say that, that might be an understatement. I think he's more than decent. So he'll work for us. But with that out the way, and again, I hope I showed the summon video, but I can't, dude, my mind is just done today. Let's get into what I've done the last few days, right? So the other 2 days, because not today. Today I didn't really get anything done. The last 2 days, I was really focused on hurrying up and getting my Giants team ready. Because as a beginner, again, the main goal, while you're trying to do a bunch of little miniature goals, like build this unit, get this done, follow Summoner's Way, focus on this. It's just like the ultimate goal, get the Giants, right? Get to a position to where you can finally start farming runes. The instant you get there, you're pretty much set, right? So get to Giants speed 10 is ultimately the first goal, and then you want something like Abyss, right? You want to get Abyss done by the end of the week, but you get to Giants speed 10 first. Like you'll see, like even for like my account, Giants speed 10 was the first thing that I got done. Once you get there, you can start improving on your units, and there's a lot of things that I can go over right now to kind of push my point. I mean, when you're talking about rune quality, you're talking about building other units. Because it's like the resources they give you in the beginning are bountiful, but limited. And you can mess up, and you can make it very difficult for you to continue to progress. Very difficult in the sense of, not really. It's not super difficult, but difficult enough to where it can set you back a bit. But, yeah, I focus on leveling up and evolving units, and the main thing I wanted to do was make sure that Fraun and Lauren were leveled up and skilled up so I can get Crow's 2A done. Let's talk about his 2A a little bit, because I think this is a good point. It's a good thing for me to get into, because this doesn't require its own guide. I'm trying to think of the things I'm going to talk about in guides and all that. But when it comes to 2As, I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to say, oh, you could do level 4. And I think you could do level 4 to put your energy on cooldown. We talked about that in the last video. But essentially, to kind of summarize it, you want your energy to always be on cooldown. That thing should never, ever be at 100 out of 100. It should always be on cooldown, always creating new energy. Because the fact of the matter is, this takes 2 hours to create 1 energy. That's a long time. And if you just let that sit there, you're talking about you're not getting as many 2As done as you can. Like within a month, you could potentially get, let's be honest, like 3 to 4 easily 2As done. But if you let that sit there, you're probably limiting yourself to 2 or 3 at most. So you go from like 3 to 4 to 2 to 3, whatever, because it's just, you have all this energy sitting here and you're not using it. But the amount of XP difference is incredible. I mean, you're doing so many more runs when you're going from level 4 to level 5 that I want to also save as much energy as possible. So while trying to use up energy, I'm trying to save it at the same time, because level 5 will give far more XP. So what happens is, by the time we get done with like Crow's 2A, we still have a lot of energy left. And with all this energy left, it'll allow us to start working on the next 2A, even if we're not going to use the 2A yet, right? So I could start working on, heck, who knows, Spectra, Thrain, any of those units right? Because it's like, it won't be a bad idea. I mean, I could start getting Bella Dion done now if I wanted to, because Bella Dion's 2A is not a bad 2A. I don't think it's the most necessary 2A. But, like, I can start working on another 2A, and I could probably get it done. And I'm able to get it done quicker because I've saved more energy, right? And I know we've all gotten to that point where it's like you're trying to 2A a monster, and you get to, like, 98% 2A XP, and then you're out of energy. And you can't buy any more because you already bought some, and now you're forced to wait, like, a day or two. Who knows, or a couple hours. So, trying to be energy efficient is essentially what I'm saying. So we were able to be energy efficient. I don't know why I exited, but here's the team. I guess we could do a quick run, but Fran is not skilled up all the way, but you know what? From what I noticed, this team never failed, so I don't know. But that was the biggest concern, was just getting this 2A team done. Because Giants is guaranteed once Crow's 2A'd. Before Crow's 2A, he's just very squishy, and while he does deal a good amount of damage, he just doesn't deal the same damage. Because obviously the stat increase and everything. Crow's 2A is really nice. But yeah, I think it's just, gosh, I'm so tired. I'm so exhausted. But yeah, I'm just trying to be energy efficient and time efficient as well. And it's just, I really just couldn't do Giants without Crow. So getting Crow's 2A done is the most important thing. So actually, there is one thing I need to talk about. So when you start off in the game, even though they give you a lot of rewards, you're going to probably have an issue, especially if you're just trying to get things done as fast as possible. On day 1 or 2, you're going to run out of evolution material probably. I want to tell you the order in which you should evolve your units, right? Fran and Lauren should be your first 6 stars, other than Lapis. But after that, go Crow, then Lynn. Reason being is because these units are this, like, Fran and Lauren I think are the most important for the 2A, and the 2A dungeon can still be semi-difficult even if they've nerfed it a little bit for us. But Fran and Lauren, want them as tanky as possible, want them to have high attack, especially Fran since her healing is based off of her stats. Lynn and Crow, they're the squishiest out of everyone. Shannon, Bella Dion, and heck even Veramos at 5 stars can survive in Giant Speed 10. But a Lynn 5-star might not be able to survive as well as a Lynn 6-star. Same thing with Crow. So you just really want to bring the most out of their stats. And I just think it's like, you will be able to achieve more by evolving certain units first. Because if I were to evolve Shannon, Bella Dion, and all of them first, it's just like, my runs could be slower because Crow and Lynn are dying. The 2As probably won't be able to get done because, who knows, maybe some runs they're barely surviving. It's too much variation when it's just like, just evolve them first. You get more results out of evolving Lynn and Crow first and then everyone else afterwards. So I wanted to state that. But once I got the 2A done, it was essentially wraps from there. I went straight into Giants. I started doing the Summoner's Way missions for Giants, and then I got the Giant Speed 10, so we could do a run right here. It still varies wildly. So one run can be super amazing. Another run can suck. I mean, it is entirely dependent on... There are so many factors, but I think the main thing that is causing runs like this to be super, like, meh, like super iffy, is the fact that the runes that they're equipped with, and not only that, skill ups, but like the runes that they're equipped with aren't so great. The quality of them is not so great. And I mentioned that earlier about rune quality, which we can kind of get into. But while they do give us a lot of runes, and I'm glad, it's just, for Veramos, he needs a completely different set. Different sets, different stats. He's on whatever set I could give him at the time. So he should be doing far more damage, far more accurate. There should be just more stuff happening on it. Like, this team works, especially for Abyss, but just for right now it doesn't, because of runes and skill ups and all that stuff. But as time goes on and we begin to get new runes and we begin to master a lot of these units and skill wise, rune wise, all that stuff, it's just, these runs will become faster, safer, all that stuff. So let's kind of talk about that, runes specifically, because runes are going to be kind of the end all be all, because like I mentioned, I think I mentioned it earlier, it's just these units, all these units here, whether it's Lyn or Crow or Shannon or Belladon or whomever, they have insane potential, but again, their potential is limited due to their runes, right? And there are a lot of factors that kind of limit their potential. I mean, you're talking about whether it's turn order or straight raw stats or even rune sets. Because like Veramos, like the rune set he's on is not his best rune set in my opinion, right? So we'll keep that because I want to use that for an explanation. So real quickly, let's go over rune sets. So this is like the set right here that you want Shannon to be on. Despair Energy works for her. She just needs better runes. So the main stats work. Like, it feels, main stats alone, these main stats are awesome, right? But it's the substats that I need to get into. But Lyn, this works, but it's not great. Because it's just like, you see, this one is okay. She doesn't need speed. She doesn't need the HP. She doesn't need any of that stuff. This one is okay. This one is not okay. So it's just like, she really is on the bare minimum. Like, you see, she's not critting as often. Even when she does, she's not critting as hard. She doesn't need a lot of attack. Belladon, she's not accurate. So she's not landing the defense break. She's not landing the strips as often. And even then, it's like, while she's fast, she's okay in tankiness. So she's in the one area that she's actually the best in, it's actually in reality okay. So like, again, the best part of her kit right now, or her stats right now, due to her runes, is like the tankiness. But even then, her tankiness is mediocre in my opinion. You could do way better in your first week of playing the game, and you will see that as time goes on. But you want her on Swift Energy, speed, HP, defense works. Like, the main stats work, but it's like, look at this: speed, crit rate, attack percent. I don't need crit rate. I don't need attack percent. I need defense. I need HP. So her stats would be better if we had better runes. Crow could use way more crit damage. Attack could also be better. And then Veramos needs an entire rework in terms of runes. Because while Violent is a good set in general, especially the later on in the game you want him on Despair. Even, I think Despair is his end-all be-all kit. Because it's like, it's great for crowd control. Gives you another chance to stun enemies. And you get him on speed, crit damage, HP. And it's just like, he's killing it. You should not just keep Veramos on super tanky. You make him tanky and hit hard, because he hits hard on skill too. So there's a lot of work to do in terms of runes, and I'm not gonna even promise you guys what I'm gonna get done. I'm just gonna tell you guys my goals and how I'm gonna achieve it, but that's later. But for new players, let's talk a little bit about runes and their importance. So I kept it earlier. Let's get into this. Okay, so I'm gonna make a video on this later on, like probably either tomorrow or the day after. But runes, we're gonna make a rune video later for sure. Just not tonight, because I gotta get stuff done still. But in terms of runes, let me show you why the rune grade is important. While the main stat for all runes are the same regardless, like you see, this is a purple 160 or 160 blue, 160 purple, right? You see the color right here. You know that there are different color runes. There's gray, the gray ones you find in scenario, green ones you find in scenario, and then you get into blue, purple, and orange. The difference between all of them is substats, right? That's the difference. Everything else is the same. The main stat is the same. The sets stay the same. Like, it all stays the same. But again, the only difference is substats. And substats are far more important than you'll ever know. Right? And I mean, you'll recognize that the further into this game you get and the more you begin to play the game. But I know some of you guys have seen my past videos. I don't know how you guys feel about my rune quality. I think my rune quality is pretty freaking good. Right? I'm going to pat myself on the back there. I think my rune quality is pretty freaking good. Right? And that is achievable thanks to runes. Right? So you see here, this rune has 2 HP substats. Now, let's talk about something. Each, like you look at +3, +6, +9, +12, those represent something very important. That either represents a roll into a stat, meaning the increase of a current existing substat, or it means the addition of a substat. So at each number, it requires a higher rune quality. The higher the rune quality, the different the outcome. So at +3, any rune that is a green or a higher will get a roll, meaning that a substat increases. At a rune that is gray, a gray rune essentially, will receive a new substat. At +6, anything that's blue or higher will receive a roll. +9, anything purple or higher will receive a roll. And at +12, legendary or orange or higher will receive a roll. Anything under that will receive a new substat. So look at this. +3, we're above a green rune, so we get a roll. +6, boom, we receive another roll. Things are going pretty good. But remember what I said, at +9, you need a purple or higher. This is not purple. This is lower. This is blue. This is one under purple. So what happens? We get a new substat. And even though the substat works for us, if we would have had like a purple rune, that could have went into speed. In fact, we could have had all the other speed rolls that went into HP go into speed, meaning that we would have had a really good and fast rune. If this was a purple already, and that would have all went into speed, that would have been an amazing rune. That could have been a rune that you would have never taken off, right? This rune can work. I'm not going to keep it, but goes into +12, boom, crit rate. And the problem is, especially with blue runes, their rolls are the addition of new substats are unpredictable. So you saw when the crit rate, I don't need crit rate, right? I'm going to sell it. But then you look at something like, that's not great. Something like this. Like this rune could potentially work for us. There are so many things that are, oh my god, there's so many things. That's why I need to make a video on this. But you could look at a rune and determine whether or not you're going to use it based on how it rolls and all that stuff. You can even prevent yourself from even wasting mana on rolling runes by looking at the substats. You'd ask yourself, what does it need to go into for me to actually use it? So for me, I need it to go into either speed or crit rate for it to be keepable. If it goes all into flat HP, I cannot use it. So it goes into speed. Go into speed. Nope. It could still be salvageable, but if it goes into flat HP, I'm not keeping it. It rolled into everything. It works. So I'm on edge on whether I should keep it. If I can get attack % or crit damage %, or heck, even if I get HP %, I just need a stat that I could keep. So when I do get an enchantment gem, I could roll out the HP. Let's see. I could roll out the crit rate and then keep it. We'll see. We'll keep it for now. Depending. It's dependent. But you see, it makes, you go through this whole process of equipping your units. And it's just like, that rune I just upgraded, this one, let's for example say I threw that on Shannon, right? And I rolled out I get enchantment gems and I roll out the crit rate. At the very least, I only have to get rid of one substat. Versus like, you look at something like, actually Belladon is probably a better example of this. Look at Belladon, it's just like this. Maybe that. This. What do I need crit rate for on Belladon? What do I need attack % for on Belladon? I don't care about her doing damage. She needs a tank, heal, and place her debuffs. She doesn't need crit rate. She doesn't need attack %. The blue runes are so unpredictable. And you see, for a blue rune, like I told you, it has 2 substats. That means the 2 stats that it started off with was speed and crit rate. If I saw a will rune, HP percent, speed crit rate rune, that is the last thing I think I'm going to throw on a Bella Dion. Well, not the last thing, but it's close to the back of the line, right? It's just, I'm not keeping it. So it's just, my monsters get better when my runes get better. End of story. I'm sorry for the long thing. We'll go into that in a different video, but there's so much to say on runes that it's insane. But for now, getting to giants is the most important thing. We got there. Now we just need to farm. So we don't know how long that takes, but of course I'm going to improve my initial team, which is Shannon, Lynn, Bella Dion, Crow, Veramos. Once I get them up and running, we can start aiming for other units and aiming in other places. Let's move on to Summoner's Way. There is something I need to talk about in Summoner's Way. We will get this done by the next video. So we will summon a Transcendence the next video. We will get another Nat 5. We will get Sierra or Pasameth. We need a speed lead. We will get a speed lead. Let's talk about the Summoner's Welcome event. All these things I don't care about. This actually I kind of do. So this, no, not this. God dang it. This is the fusion event. This is the first important event that you're going to look at other than stuff from the events tab. The way you go about moving through this is very important. Start completing this event, but do not collect any monsters. Reason being is by the time you get all 3 of these collect material fusion monsters done, within that time you could summon one of them, or you could summon the fusions. So you could summon the, like, for example, Veramos requires a Fire Succubus. You could summon the Beast Hunter and the Salamander, the Harpy, and then the Harpoo. So you only get to choose 3 of these fusion monsters out of the 4 that you need. So what you should do is you should wait, and when you have all the options available, look for a monster that you could fuse naturally instead of receiving it through the event. So I go through here, I showed you the Fire Succubus. This shows me that I have a Fire Beast Hunter in the Sealed Shrine. Right? I have all the materials needed to get the Succubus done. So what I do is I pick all the other fusion material monsters other than the Succubus. Then I look for the Fire Beast Hunter, the Fire Salamander, the Water Harpy and the Wind Harpy or Harpoo, and then I just get them and I level them up and evolve them, and I fuse the Succubus naturally, allowing me to kind of bum rush Veramos. But one thing that I will say for sure is to save you time, one of the monsters should always be the Dark Yeti. That's my opinion. I know you can get a secret dungeon, but for a lot of people, it's like that would require waiting, and that would require sitting in front of the chat, watching chat all the time. And that's not too big of a deal, but for me, it was more convenient to get the Yeti and then just level up everything, because it allows for some level of autonomy where I could just kind of grab all the units that I need for the Succubus fusion, throw them in Feynman, and then go back to whatever I'm doing in the real world, right? So I don't have to sit here and look at chat, because I don't have time to sit here and look at chat. I'm a very busy person. I'm not trying to sound important, but I'm very busy, so I can't just sit here and look at the chat. It allows for me to be a little bit more, I can walk away from the phone more often. So, in my opinion, aim for the Dark Yeti, and then the other 2 monsters, you pick monsters that you don't have all the fusion material for. The last one that you don't get is the one that you have all the materials for. So that's the first thing. This thing right here, in my opinion, I'm going to be straight up with you. I think there are 3 units that you should aim for. There are 1.5 billion good units that you could pick from. Not literally 1.5 billion. There are a lot of good units you could pick from, but there are 3 amazing units that you should aim for. These units, I wouldn't say are necessary. There is no unit that is absolutely necessary for you to do anything in this game. But there are 3 units that will change the way you play this game, right? So let me talk about these 3 units real quick. The first unit is the Water Boomerang Warrior and the Water Chakram Dancer. Those are the first 2 units, actually. These units will be so important for us to beat the Rift Beast. They're not necessary. Again, you can theoretically beat all the Rift Beasts without them. I've done it on the LD only account, so that should be more than enough to prove it. But they make it so much easier, it's insane. The fact of the matter is they could be used in almost every single Rift Beast and in Rift Raid. So these are really good units, and the reason that they're good is because they deal damage based off of enemies' HP conditions, and they just like, the amount of burst damage that they get out is insane. You want both Water Twins. But the third unit, in my opinion, is Abigail. Abigail will be used for Necropolis. It would be nice if you can grab Abigail if you already have the other two, right? So she has tons of multi-hits. We can go into her in some other video. Again, go into a bigger, much more deeper explanation, but in my opinion, the first two units you should aim for is the Water Twins. Pick which, or aim for the twin that you don't have. If you don't have any of them, hold off. So even if I were to get the twin here, if I get the twin, I'm picking her. But you saw, I have Abigail right here. I could have picked Abigail in hopes that, hey, I'm going to get the Water Twin eventually. But for me to progress as fast as possible, I think getting the other Water Twin over Abigail is going to be the most important thing. So I purposely just like avoided touching this just for you guys so I can explain it. But again, this is something I'll go into deeper detail in another video. But aim for the twins by any means necessary, whether that's that event or this right here, the engraved summons. Though sadly the engraved summons do not have her. I'll pick this one for now. But do they even have her coming up? Nope. So who knows? Who knows when I'll summon her? But at the very least, I can guarantee you that within the next day or two, I'm gonna get her. And once I get her, we're kind of set for the beasts, right? So twins first, then Abigail. And while there are other units like Tyrion, Lucian, yada 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 that are fun and they're really good units, I don't think they're as helpful, especially early on, as like the twins are, or even Abigail, because Abigail is going to be a really good unit to take into Necropolis. But that's just my opinion. Again, we'll go into that in another video. Let's summon. Let's summon. Bruh, we don't have too many scrolls, but we have some scrolls. But what do I want to have done by the next video? My goal is to just get Abyss done. Once we get Abyss done, I feel like from there it's not a big deal. I mean, what am I talking about? I'm so incredibly freaking tired. But we just need to get to Abyss so we can start farming some really good runes. For us to do that, we need to improve the rune quality of our current units. So, do I waste? Okay. You know what? We're gonna waste some crystals. I'll be right back. Don't ever buy packs. I just bought a pack, but don't ever buy them. Doing them for content. But Giant's Abyss is essentially all I'm aiming for. The way I'm going to do that, though, like I mentioned earlier, is through rune improvement. That and skill ups along the way. Along the way. But for now, that's all I can really talk about. That's all I can really get into. Oop. You could be using dragons, I suppose. I don't know. I'm gonna end it here. I'll probably be able to give you a much better video later on, but this is what I got for now. I'm so sorry. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Jesus.